Hi guys, Ray here from City Fan TV, and I'm joined tonight by Jenny. How you doing, Jenny?
I'm good, thank you, Ray.
And for the first time ever, we've been trying all season. We've got Julie on tonight. How you doing, Julie?
Hiya.
We've got Peter
I'm
on
all
as
right,
well.
thanks.
All right, good. Well, you got Peter on as well. You recognise Peter. How you doing, Peter?
Hiya, Ray. You okay? Good to speak to you, mate.
All right. I'm sure you're sick as sight of us, mate. This is the third time Man City are playing Everton this season. And I've got to start there. You've played us twice already this season in two different competitions, the Conti Cup and the FA Cup, and you've won now against us. So, Julie, are you sick of the sight of City yet?
Yeah, because we beat. Yeah, I think you beat us pre-season as well, didn't you? Yeah, so it's one of them. It's like the Manchester teams for some reason. I don't know what it is. We just cannot win against them. It's got to change, hasn't it? Sometime. Keep saying this every time we play you, but it never has yet. Well, hopefully this is the one or two.
What about you, Peter? Are you sick of the sight of us?
Absolutely, but at the same time, I think there was a lot of positive signs. Certainly over the 90 minutes in the FA Cup final, I think that we showed, that we've come on leaps and bounds, and we certainly have the ability to be able to compete with some of the top sides now. So, as much as I'm sick of the sight of you beating us, I think we've shown some encouraging signs over the last few months, which still leaves me with a lot of confidence.
Excellent. Jenny, I'll ask you. Obviously, we've not had much footy recently for the women's team with all the international break. So, are you still basking in the glory of that FA Cup final win? Or have you consigned it to history and you're looking for the next prize?
Well, the cup final win's always nice, isn't it? But no, you've got to sort of start thinking about the next thing. And obviously, it's this season, and we want to do well, and we've not started well in the league, so we need to push on a bit now.
Absolutely. I'm going to briefly mention that Conti Cup for Julie and Peter, because it is very confusing. I have no idea what's going on. And I'm a mathematician. I ain't got a clue what's going on with the Conti Cup, the way that it's messed up with 23 teams split into groups with 5 groups of 4 and a group of 3, and they can't work out. For the ordinary fans, it's crackers, because we can't work out easily what's going to happen. Do you guys know what's going to happen? Because you can still qualify, but you're going to have to do something special to do that. Any ideas, guys? Can you inform us, enlighten us?
I think, as far as I'm aware, and I'm not 100% sure, I don't think anyone is on this competition, but I think we've got to win by 5 clear goals or something to enable us to qualify. So if that's the case, then it's still doable. You've got to go for it, haven't you? So who knows?
Peter, can you beat United 5-0?
Well, I'd just like to see us beat United full stop, to be honest with you. It'd be a nice change. But again, it totally depends on the type of team that United look to field. And also, it depends on what type of team Everton want to field as well, because it's not really a competition that we've necessarily, taken that seriously. It's probably not one of our priorities. I think I've said this before. But at the same time, if there's a chance to qualify, then there's no reason for us not to go for it. But I mean, it's going to be a tough ask, no matter who United play, because they've got a great squad. But you've still got to fancy our chances of at least giving it a go and trying our very best. I honestly just don't have a clue how. I mean, I'm just going to follow Julie's lead, I think, and just let her. At the end of 90 minutes, I'll ask Julie if we've gone through or not, and I think that'll probably be it.
I'm sure. I'm sure some of the journalists and whatever, they'll let us know before the game in the build up to that game. I'm going to stick with you, Everton guys, and ask you. You're 4th in the league. You start both Everton men's and women's teams started the season on fire in the league, both top in the table. You've dropped off a bit, and I think that was to be expected. I think you winning your first few games was pushing a little bit above your weight, you could argue. But you're only 3 points off the top. You're sitting in 4th. So, Julie, how long do you think you can maintain this good form at Everton? And do you think you can finish in the top 3 or 4 at the end of the season?
Yeah, I believe the football that we're playing is good enough to keep us up in the top 4. I mean, we've got a few injuries at the moment, so hopefully, they're not long term, apart from Valerie, which obviously is. I do believe though we're playing a good enough football to compete with anybody, and I expect us to finish in the top four. And it is a new team. We are building, obviously, for the future, but you've got to aim as high as possible. I'll be happy. Top four is good enough for me, yes. And I think that we can maintain it if we play the football we've been playing all season.
Okay, what do you think, Peter?
Yeah, I think certainly the start that we had was from both teams, but in particular our women's team was absolutely fantastic, and I think we probably just wanted to give everyone a chance to catch up, to be honest with you. So to make things a bit interesting. The football we've been playing has been absolutely superb. I think the FA Cup final kind of took the wind out of our sails a little bit in terms of the amount of effort and the amount of just everything that those players left out on that pitch. They left everything out on that pitch, and I think it took a few weeks for us to sort of recover from that, both physically and mentally, because they really did give it absolutely everything. But I think in hindsight now, I think they can look back at that performance with so much pride, and the fact that they just didn't give up. They carried on. Say there was a slight hangover possibly from that fight. Been encouraging signs in the last few games to show that we are getting back to some sort of top form. I think the players we've got in the squad now throughout the side show that we've got a real quality in the side. I think it's going to be important that we keep players fit. So Valerie Gorvan picked up that knock in the final, and we really have missed her just because she's got a devastating impact coming off the bench. In particular, she's a goal threat, which we've missed. But having said that, the players that we've got in the squad are still a sort of a match for anyone, in my opinion. But it's a long season, and we'll hopefully we'll still be there or thereabouts towards the end of the season.
All right. And Jenny, look, City are fifth. We're behind Everton at the moment. As you've already mentioned, we had a pretty average start to the league season. So what are you hoping for, and what are you expecting for the remainder of the FA Women's Super League season for Man City?
Well, obviously, I'm hoping that they can get back to some kind of form where they can be, trying to get back up in the top, at the top of the league, because that's what they want at the end of the day. They're not aiming for 4th place or 5th place. They're aiming for the top of the league. So it'll be nice to see if they can start doing that. Okay,
good. Back to you, Toffees. I'm going to ask you, this season so far, who do you think your standout players have been, Julie?
For me, it's obviously the form of Izzy Christensen's been a revelation. She's been unbelievable. She's like the Izzy of old, which obviously she suffered at Lyon in the injury, and she's had a bad year or so. But she's got that form, she's got that desire to win again. Lucy Graham, another massive player for us at the moment. And then the defence, I mean, you've got a defence there that we've lacked for a long time. I mean, a right back, it's Megan Finnegan's playing the football of her career since she's been with the players around it. It's just the whole team is gelling and it's doing really well. But I think the standout player for me is Izzy and Lucy.
Yeah. And Peter, would you add any extra players to that? I mean, you mentioned Valerie Govan, who I really like her. Is anybody else, do you think that's excelled this season for the Toffees?
Yeah, I think certainly what Julie said as well about the defence. Rika Zavecki, who's come in at centre half, she's been absolutely superb, and someone who, when you see her play, you can see that the leadership that she's got. She's a very intelligent player. She's great in the air. She really is a very, very good footballer, and she's come in, and obviously, Kika Van Es then left. Probably, I believe, because I don't think she would have gotten the side ahead of Rika because of how great she's been. And again, it's brought out the best in Meg Finnegan, who has been absolutely superb. And it's great to see as well with Meg, because she's been there for so long at Everton. She's still only such a young, a young player. But I mean, she's come on leaps and bounds, and she really is a huge leader in that side. And yeah, I mean, to add to that, Claire Emsley as well, when she's played, she unfortunately couldn't play in the FA Cup. I think she was a big miss for us actually in that final because of her because of her pace and her direct play. I think she's been absolutely superb. Hayley Rasso as well, another player who's made a great impact. And then you've got players like Simone McGill, who's been there, for a number of years again, who seems to have found a new lease of life in the system that we're playing. So, yeah, there's a lot of players who've really impressed me. Sandy McGeever as well. I'm sure the City fans will remember from the FA Cup final. She's really, for such a young goalkeeper to have the performances she had in an FA Cup final under so much pressure, I think it shows that she's got a huge future ahead of her. And I'm certainly been massively impressed with her since we signed her last season.
Okay, and Jenny, for City, who's sparkle for City this season? Who's the standout player? Or is there more than one?
Well, you can't go far without mentioning Chloe Kelly. She's come into the team and looked as if she's been there for a long time. She's gelled straight away. I think Sam Lewis has started very, very well as well. Obviously there's the older players, like you've got Steph in defence. She's one of the best centre-halves in the women's game. Then, of course, you've got Lucy Bronze, but even she's struggled a bit to sort of get back into it a little bit since she came from Lyon. But yeah, Chloe Kelly for me is probably the best player so far.
Yeah, I'll ask Peter and Julie. I'll start with Peter this time. Which City players are you fearing the most come Sunday?
Well, I think I can't go a show with you without mentioning Chloe Kelly, can I? She's absolutely superb. She's lethal. We know all about her qualities. She really is she's one of the top players in the league, in my opinion, and she will go to the very, very top of the game. It just depends on whether she's fit or not, because I know that she pulled out of England duty, didn't she? So it's whether or not she's fit. It'd be a huge bonus for us if she missed this one. Not that I'd wish her any harm or anything. I'd like to see her back on the pitch as soon as possible. But if she could give this one a miss, that'd be great for us. But yeah, the quality that City have got throughout the side is just incredible, isn't it? And you really are like sort of the benchmark for any team wanting to compete towards the top of the table. So I could list half the side who I think could be a threat. Like you say, for different reasons as well. Even the likes of Jill Scott, one of our former players, again, if she was able to come onto the pitch, she's always been a threat against us. She's tall, she's athletic, she's got a great shot, and you've got quality throughout. And I think you said about Lucy Bronze as well. At some point she's going to come into some real devastating form, and we know that she's got that rifle of a right foot. So we'll see. Hopefully it'll be another week for her just until she finds her feet properly. But yeah, I'd say, Mewis. I could go on all day about the players in your squad. To be honest with you, I don't. It's difficult to single out one or two. Put it that way.
Yeah. Well, what about you, Julie? Who do you think? Who are you fearing the most come the weekend?
I've got to say, Chloe Kelly, awesome player, but I really think that we dealt with her well in the cup final and didn't really give her. We didn't give her the space she needed. I think we handled her really well. My biggest fear is bloody Sam Lewis. She's just awesome. She is a beast of a player. I knew she was good watching her in the World Cup, but to actually see her, I couldn't get over how big she is. She's a proper player, isn't she? But yeah, she's the player that I would fear the most. And then you've obviously got the two players. You've got Lucy and Alex on both flanks who can deliver them, the balls in. But I really think that the only player that really, I know you just beat us 3-1, but Sam Lewis for me was the player that was hard to handle on the day. So
yeah.
Hoping we can.
I've got to say, Sam Lewis, I wouldn't want to meet her in a dark alleyway somewhere.
No, she's an absolute baller though. She's a beast.
She could easily work the door in some Liverpool nightclubs that might have. Easy. No one would mess with her. I'll move to you, Jenny. Look, we've had a big injury right at the start of the season in the Community Shield game. And we lost Lauren Hemp, a young player of the season last season, fantastic talent. So I'm going to ask you, how much do you think City have missed her magic? And also, secondly, talk about Lauren first. And secondly, Rose Lavelle. Now, she is one of the best players in the world. And the American fans keep telling me that. I get into arguments with them because they say she should be playing for City and Gareth Taylor's playing in the wrong position. And when you see her playing for the US women's national team, she's brilliant. And she hasn't fired at City. So Lauren Hemp and Rose Lavelle, discuss.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Lauren is a world-class player in the making. She just makes such good runs in them from the midfield. She can score goals. And yeah, we've missed her because she is pacey. She can keep up with some of the faster strikers in the other teams. Rose Lavelle, I know when the season first started, she was obviously quarantining and she'd not been properly training. I don't know whether it's just a fitness thing for Gareth Taylor or if it's something else that he prefers. I just don't know, because it depends where you're going to put her and who you're going to take her out to put her in, sort of thing.
Because in midfield we've got a lot of
so I think that's his quandary. And also, yeah, I mean, we've got Aoife Mannion coming back as well, and she's obviously been a big miss since doing her ACL last season. But she's back in training, so I know a lot of the fans are hoping that she's going to be playing soon. But again, who do you take out to put her in? So
you've got people you've got people like Caroline Weir. You've got
Kira
Walsh, and I've totally forgotten her name now. Laura Coombs, who's been scoring some cracking goals. So it's like you say, who do you take out to accommodate someone like Rose Lavelle or Aoife? Yeah,
I mean, it's like the last game we played, Gemma Bonner didn't play because he put Alex Greenwood in the centre of defence. And for me, Gemma Bonner is, again, she's on a par with Steph. She's one of the best centre-backs never to have been picked for England. I don't know what she's got to do to get picked for the England team. But she wasn't playing, so he is rotating, but it's frustrating for them that are on the bench.
Yeah. And guys, I'm going to ask a final question, everybody. I'll start with Julie. I'm going to get a score prediction out of you, Julie. What do you reckon is going to happen on Sunday?
I think, like I said in the cup final, it's going to be close. I really hope and believe this time, with us being at home, that we're going to edge it 2-1 again. All
right. What about you, Peter?
For once, I'm going to be slightly pessimistic. I'm going to go for 1-1. I'm going to go for a draw. I think that we, as I say, we sort of showed that we could, match City in the final in the first 90 minutes. I'm getting attacked by my dog. Sorry, this is my puppy, and because I've not given him attention for 20 odd minutes, he's come to say hello. Sorry. So I think we showed in the 90 minutes in the FA Cup final that we have the potential there to match City over the 90 minutes. So I'd go for 1-1. I'd probably take a draw, to be honest with you. I think that with the winter break coming up, it's important for us to get as many points on the board as we can, and a point against City under any circumstances is a huge bonus. So, yeah, 1-1.
Jenny, what about you?
Well, I've got to go for City. I would say 2-1 to City. I don't think that they're going to run away with it, and it could be a 1-1. It could be a game that Everton stop the defeats by a Manchester team, but I'm going to go 2-1 City.
I think, for me, I think it's going to be a tight game. I was going to go 2-1 as well, but since Julie and Jenny have already done that, I'm going to go 1-0 City. I think it'll be, as I said, a tight game. I don't think there'll be too many chances, and I'm just going to hope that if Lauren's back playing and with Sam Lewis dominating the midfield and our defence, which has usually been pretty decent overall, not conceding too many chances, I'm hoping that we can scrape it. But whatever happens, it's going to be a tough old game. But at least the team in blues, I always say this, the team in blues is going to win. So at least some comfort.
You've actually also got as well two of the best goalkeepers in the league as well.
What's that? Karen Bardsley and...
Yeah, I mean, you've got two of the best young keepers that are going to be vying for first choice England keeper for the next probably 5-6 years.
I thought you were talking about Ellie Roebuck and Karen Bardsley there for a minute, Julie.
No, definitely not. Yeah, I mean, Sandy McKeever, she's an awesome keeper, but then obviously, you know, you've got one of the best keepers, well, currently number one, isn't she? But
yeah.
So it's definitely not going to be it's going to be tight because you've got two really good keepers there as well.
Yeah, fantastic. Guys, I'm going to say big thanks for coming on. We'll be shooting this video up on a Friday evening, and so it's really great to have you guys on and give up a little bit of your Friday evening to chat about football and chat about the women's teams, the best two women's teams in the northwest of England. Guys, thank you so much.
Cheers, thank you.
Thank you, Ray. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.